Hey guys, what's going on? Back with another video, and today we're going to be modifying the C8 Z06 Corvette. I've actually spawned two separate models here because these are done by different creators and yeah, different authors of each of these cars. The difference is that this one actually allows you to add the Z07 splitter on it as well as the back wing, but I started messing with this one first, and I've already modified the handling. I've already modified the exhaust note, which is from a different car, but I wanted to make it sound like an actual Z06 Corvette with the flat plane crank, so we're just going to be modifying this one. And again, the only real difference is that this has the body kit on it. You know, it's not a very customizable car to begin with, only because it's, you know, a real car. It's new. They didn't come up with all these different aftermarket bumpers and so on and so forth. And plus, the whole point of the video is just to show off how awesome this car is. And of course, the F35C here, which is probably the most beautiful variant of the F35 because it's got the extended wingspan. If you are into airplanes, I'll show you what it looks like real fast from above. Can we do it? Yeah. I mean, American made. I'm very proud, although I had nothing to do with it. So let's get in this car and let's get over to Benny's. Yeah, it's Benny's, and I want to show you how it sounds too. Beautiful. Okay, so here we are in the shop getting ready to modify it. I think a lot of people actually are kind of getting burnt out from this car. Not to start off on a bad note. It's not a bad thing. It's just the fact that we've heard so much about it, but with all of the production shortages, you know, with basically everything kind of getting held up in the pipeline, nobody has one yet. So we can only gawk from a distance and be like, man, I can't imagine what it's gonna sound like with a straight pipe. And eventually in 2023, that's when they said, you know, they're going to be really pumping them out to customers. That's when we will see them, but until that time, we just have to watch all the startup videos on repeat and, you know, brief clips of them driving in traffic. As for the color, I don't know. When comparing it to that F35, that type of stealthy gray would look cool, but at the same time, it's a pretty good-looking car. I mean, I really like the way it looks, and some people say it's like a knockoff Ferrari, which I find so funny, because just because a car has an engine in the back doesn't mean it's trying to be Ferrari. But Christian, I'm actually going to go with orange. I like that. But Christian von Koenigsegg, yes, the guy that actually, you know, owns Koenigsegg, all the amazing cars you love, the Agera, all that stuff, he actually drove the base model C8 and said it's an amazing car. He really liked it. And if a guy that is known for making virtually the best hypercars in the world said that the base model Corvette C8 is good, well, I think it's probably good enough for anybody at that point. Just my opinion. What kind of interior? We can do a rolled steel, and then can we do the... Where is my accent here? What am I looking at? Do I have an accent? Yes, it's mid-Atlantic. Okay, now what am I looking at? Okay, cool. Okay, I think that kind of fits. Maybe it's a little bit off, but it's okay. Can I change the caliper color? No, I cannot. We need to change the suspension, the transmission, no turbo, just no need, if I'm honest with you. I kind of like... That's the whole point of the car, is to be naturally aspirated. And now we're going to change the wheels. I'm going to have to fix them a bit out there in the parking lot because they are not going to fit well. And you know what? Actually, what we're going to do with the Z07 package, which you actually get in real life, which is a very expensive package, the carbon fiber wheels. I'm actually going to go with that. They do fit. They don't, you know, The brake caliper doesn't protrude past them, but we are not going to keep that red color. Hell no. Oh, okay, of course. So that's where the wheel color is. But we'll do orange again. Can we find one that fits? See, I feel like it's just a tiny bit off. Okay, so there we have it. Our modified version of the Corvette C8 Z06. It's actually early morning here. I think it would be appropriate with the sunrise orange type of color, though I know it's not that exactly, to go and take it for a ride at, of course, you know, sunrise. Beautiful car. It's going to be really coveted in the future due to the fact that it is a naturally aspirated V8. No turbos, anything like that. You know, people are going to love the sound. It's just going to be, you know, so hard to get, so expensive. And that's kind of a shame. It's going to put a lot of normal people off. Because if you know Corvettes, the whole point is that they're kind of meant to be performance bargains, which they are. They're really, really incredible cars. They handle well, they're quick. But you know, this is like, people are buying them new for $170,000 or $150,000, the Z06. So I mean, when they flip them and resell them, it's just going to be ridiculous. But let's take it for a drive. We have to hear how it sounds through the tunnel. You ready? Unbelievable. Away from the darkness. The top speed in the real world is apparently 206 miles an hour. So maybe if we get to a highway, we'll get to test how fast this thing can go. I've messed around with it before. It can't hit 206, but maybe around 180, 190. One thing that's kind of funny to me is for the longest time, Americans were told that their engine technology is too primitive. And then the first time they try a flat plane crank engine like the Europeans do it, they end up producing the most powerful naturally aspirated V8 to ever hit a production car. So I kind of found that funny. It was like, okay, we're going to give it a shot. By the way, most powerful V8 ever. You know, with no turbos or anything, with like in a production car, of course. Can really move. Unfortunately, we're topped out at the 6th gear, but you know, in the real life there would just be one more. But it can fly. This thing can go. Ooh, that could have been really bad. Yeah, it just looks and sounds fantastic. Everything about it. 180, almost at 190. Yeah, it's just this final gear is locking us down. The power is definitely there, though. Look how great this looks, man. Wow. So I decided to change the color of it. And I really like the way this car looks. I don't care if people think it looks cheap or whatever. You know, there are only so many ways you can design a mid-engine car. I'm not a fan of the taillights on the base model, but I like those flatter taillights on the newer years. But I just wonder if it does pull off exotic colors, because I always test this on cars. You know, I do wonder if it pulls off exotic colors well, or if people will say, nah man, it's still a Chevy. I really cannot believe this is a Chevrolet, to be honest with you, especially because of the flat plane crank. I mean, it's gonna sound like this in person too, it is. What can we hit going downhill? Oh, this is not gonna be good. Ooh, brutal. Even when you see them in person as well, I don't know how many of you are American or European, but I see a couple of these a week buzzing around my town, and I gotta be honest, man, like, they really do break your neck. And if I were to see one in this color, yeah, I think a lot of people would, would stop and look. Oh, one more under the bridge. Thing just rips. Well, anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video. This is going to be an incredibly exciting car to see in the future. And you know what the coolest part is, too? Again, I don't know how many of you are Corvette enthusiasts. I like my exotic cars as much as the next guy, but when you see stuff that's meant to be attainable, I kind of like that even more. The Z06 is here, and then there's going to be the E-Ray, which will be probably an electric hybrid. And then after that, we're going to have a ZR1, and there's even talk of a top-tier model, potentially, you know, like a 1,000 horsepower model, the Zora, which a lot of people are thinking it's going to be like a twin-turbo, flat plane crank car like this, with electric motors in it. I sound like a nut saying this, but dude, if the Z06 can hit 205-6 miles an hour, and that's like the first performance model, and we do have a Zora, that will probably be hypercar territory. Will it not? I mean, twin turbo with electric engines? I don't know. Maybe I'm just making it up as I go along, but yeah, again, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I will see you next video.